Today I'm going to talk about something quite dark from history called Kamera. So what is Kamera? Kamera, often referred to as the Cell, was one of the Soviet Union's most secretive and disturbing Cold War programs. It was a covert poison research laboratory embedded within the state security apparatus under agencies like the NKVD and later the KGB. Established in the early 1920s, it operated under various names, including Lab 1, Lab 2, with a clear and highly technical objective: to develop toxic agents that could kill quickly, reliably, and without forensic detection. Under the direction of toxicologist Grigory Maranovsky, the lab became particularly notorious for its systematic use of human experimentation, which formed the core of its research process. Prisoners, often political detainees or individuals taken from the Gulag system, were selected as test subjects, typically without consent or knowledge of what they were being given. Many were told they were receiving medical treatment or participating in routine examinations, where in reality they were actually being exposed to lethal substances. The experiments were designed with clinical precision. Scientists carefully controlled dosage, method of administration, and environmental conditions, then observed the progression of symptoms in real time. The victims were often isolated in monitored rooms where researchers could document physiological responses such as changes in breathing, heart rate, muscle control, and consciousness. Substances like cyanide were used to study rapid cellular hypoxia, while others like ricin allowed researchers to observe slower systematic failure, including organ shutdown and internal bleeding. Curare was tested for its ability to induce paralysis without immediate loss of consciousness, enabling scientists to observe the effects of respiratory arrest in a conscious subject. In some cases, combinations of these toxins were administered to evaluate synergistic effects, aiming to create compounds that balance spread, subtlety, and lack of detectable residue. Reports suggest that researchers paid close attention not only to how subjects died, but how they behaved in their final moments, whether they showed signs of distress, confusion, or calmness, since a quiet death was considered more useful for covert operations. Autopsies were sometimes conducted internally to assess tissue damage and confirm whether the poison left identifiable traces, feeding back into further refinement of those compounds. One of the most infamous outcomes of this research was a compound known as C2, which according to testimonies produced a rapid yet outwardly subdued physiological collapse. Victims reportedly experienced sudden weakness, dizziness, and a loss of motor control before slipping into a fatal cardiovascular or respiratory failure within minutes. Its exact chemical composition remains unclear, but it was believed to interfere with critical systems such as autonomic regulation or cellular respiration, while breaking down into compounds difficult to distinguish during post-mortem analysis. While many victims of Kamera's experiments remain unnamed due to the secrecy of the program, some individuals linked to Soviet prison operations more broadly have become historically notable, including Nikolai Kokolov, who survived a poisoning attempt with radioactive thallium, and Grigory Markov, famously killed in London with a ricin-filled pellet. Though not all directly tied to C2 itself, these cases illustrate how the knowledge and techniques developed in this facility, like Kamera, extend beyond the laboratory. The true skill of victims, however, remains unknown, lost within classified archives, making Kamera not only a symbol of scientific manipulation, but also a stark reminder of the countless lives erased in the pursuit of undetectable death. If you like this content, guys, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.